So I want to give you guys a quick little aftermath of Glamis and the Sand Rat. Wah, wah, wah. Well, tires didn't blow apart, but headed back from the races. So regular tires are back on it. Got a couple of flats on these tires and whatnot, but nothing major. As far as like the main thing's gone bad and gone wrong. We never got around to changing this bushing up here. So this guy right here, so it was kind of wobbly, and that kind of made the steering a little wonky when you were going slow. As long as you were at speed, never felt it, didn't care. The springs definitely settled in a lot more than like what I anticipated. So the bottom one, I'm probably going to end up putting a link on now and preloading that one a little bit more from the start. I don't think the way I had it set up as like a dual rate where it'd come in later. The idea is sound, don't get me wrong, but I think I need that extra little bit at ride height right away. That'll also lift the front up a little bit. A couple of spots, like when I put these limiting straps on right here, I just bolted it up tight, not really thinking about it. Well, as you can see, the shocks have come up and hit them a couple of times. So I actually did bottom out the front suspension. Not very many times, at least once or twice though. That's as far as the front goes. I thought steering was going to be an issue, like in the sand and whatnot, and actually turning. There was a couple times I could have turned a little tighter, but other than that, didn't affect the car at all. Didn't affect me at all. Car ran flawless, you know, as far as driving wise. The back, on the other hand, you know, in the video, way soft, way soft. So what we are going to do is we're going to pull this leaf pack out, and we're going to swap a couple leaves in here, shorten the lengths a little bit, and we'll put this eyelet down here a little bit more. And what that'll do is that'll give me a little bit of a stiffer spring. I don't want to change ride height. You know, in all actuality, I need a taller front tire for desert tires, and that's what's going to happen. We're going to put desert tires on it. I am going to have a windshield cut forward eventually, but for right now, I'm just going to start with a piece of plexiglass, run it around a little bit and see how that does. But we are going to get like a 32 or possibly even a 33 for the front. These are 33s in the rear. I don't mind these tires, but they're heavy tires. The tire and wheel package is like 4 times as heavy as a sand tire. It's ridiculous how heavy these things are. But altogether, the whole thing, it did really good for what it was. Like, we had 0 test and tune time. Like, it drove out of the shop. I drove it across the street to a vacant field, around the vacant field like 3 times just to make sure, you know, it actually drove. And then it got put in the trailer and taken to Glamis. Like, that's it. And then the very first time in Glamis, it got drove from like the trailer over to the campfire at night. The next day we went on our first ride, and that was the first time I experienced it. Hey, shh, I'm talking. Shh. Muskrat, I'm talking. Hey, shh, I'm talking. So it actually did flawless. I mean, overall, like I say, the back end, if I can stiffen the back a little bit so it's not so squishy, perfect. One of the things that did happen though, we did get into the upper wishbone down here. So you can kind of see the dent right here, and then over here you can kind of see a dent. So because this thing was so soft, it was actually going up and hitting my frame right here. Now mind you, if you look at the height of the space between the gas tank, and then this is 2 inches. Originally I was gonna try and make this smaller, but I figured at worst case scenario, I needed that as like a stop, you know, as far as like making sure I didn't smash my gas tank. So I don't know if I'm going to change that. I thought about trying to change it and raise it up or whatnot. I don't think I'm going to change it. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. If anything, I might rebuild the wishbone a little bit, so it's got a dip in the wishbone right there, and maybe that's enough to give me an extra inch or 2 of travel, of up travel, I should say. So we're going to go we're gonna dissect this thing a little bit more, but this was just a quick run through. Unfortunately, I haven't had very much time with another project I had to get finished, but I had planned on having a whole like rundown on this thing, and unfortunately it just didn't happen right now. So, but one of the things I do want to do, I think I'm going to take my forklift, and being as that these are monoleafs and whatnot, I'm going to lift up the front end. I want to see how much articulation this car has, because I mean, you saw in the video that back's got a bunch, but that was pre-shocks and pre-spring. So I wonder what it has now with actual wheels, tires, suspension, and springs on it. I wonder how much I can articulate this thing. So I'm gonna get this whole thing set up, grab my forklift, come over here, lift it up, and just see what it does. All right, so we're gonna see what happens here.